2, board 1, and Shach is capable of stopping Magnus, that's I'm sure.
He also has a lot of experience, because I think in order to face Magnus you in great shape, only those players who experience Magnus in great shape can understand what it means and what it takes.
Okay.
But wow, Magnus tricked Mamedyarov.
Mamedyarov, because now it's a Queen's Gambit with prematurely developed knight on c3, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, Queen's Gambit accepted with...
now I'm wondering that, look at this also, the way Mamedyarov is playing, like if he is not believing that he can beat Magnus. I mean, just in these few moves I have this feeling...
Yeah, it doesn't feel like... Yeah, this move like b3, putting the bishop on b2, it's usually, you know.
But I mean, we are talking here, but imagine the players. They know now, by now, that Magnus is on fire. I mean, he's playing brilliant chess. He's winning game after game. He might just drop by accident some half point. So it's also logical from their perspective, maybe just to play safe and not to lose that game, not to fall behind of the standing and hope for other pairing in the remaining last 2 games.
All right, but look, Mamedyarov is on 12. So
okay, if he draws with Magnus and then wins the last 2, he might come
like
close
finish on a nice, yeah. So basically, he disbelieves that he can win, yeah.
Yeah, and Magnus is anyway 2.5 points ahead of him, so he is basically not really fighting against Magnus's score. He wants to stabilize his tournament.
Okay. This looks like some Meran, very comfortable Meran variation for black.
Yeah, black has comfortably equalized, but this is also a way how you're gonna end up losing to Magnus if you are with whites playing so hesitantly. Yeah?
Right.
Okay, it's very, very solid, but it feels like it's colors reversed. Yeah, like Magnus would be playing white.
And then you still have the feeling it's equal, but some pressure, right?
And 1 minute below on the clock, 150 against 250. I mean, Magnus keeps on amazing us, and the opposition seems to be terrified of him already.
Right, yeah, I mean, it's definitely an advantage for Magnus, I mean, on a clock and somewhat more pleasant position, right? So there is a feeling that Shach is simply trying to make a draw. So while very impactful on the standings, this by no means is an exciting game.
Yeah, it almost gives me the feeling, should we maybe move?
After b4?
Just rook takes d8 check and then move, but you have to go ugly to d1. And then bishop e4?
Oh wait, I mean, actually he got himself into trouble. I'm wondering if he has to play knight a4, I mean, which is not the thing you want to do, but ending up with knight on d1 doesn't feel great either.
Yeah, especially because bishop e4, knight d3 might take your bishop.
Yeah.
But I have to say that it would be a nice punishment if Mamedyarov loses like this, because with white,
you have to try.
You have to try, you just can't play like this. And it's also not his style. Normally he's going all in, and he's a very aggressive player.
Okay, maybe not going all in anymore, right? I mean, he changed, in last years, he changed quite a bit, and it actually kind of improved on his overall results. Queen b3.
Yeah, trying to be very solid.
So the question is if a gf6, what happened?
Why? Because b4 was hanging.
Ah, b4 was hanging.
So he used that moment.
All right, f5, a5, yeah, obviously not improving white's structure.
Yeah, but 1 minute against 2.5 and an unpleasant ending against Magnus. Not a dream scenario by any means.
Absolutely. Queen c2, queen c6. Magnus, in fact, wants to exchange the queens, but not on b3, of course.
Yeah, and then because the a4 and a2 pawns are...
well, actually, if white takes, goes bishop d1, puts the bishop on b3, do you really have winning chances? Because your dark square bishop is not that useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it will be a draw, so maybe we just picked the wrong game. Shall we accept it? Or okay, let's stay.
No, we can move. Let's move.
Let's move.
We might come back if there is some drama.
Yeah, there should be something more exciting, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, young Christoph Dudagiri is quite a solid position, so let's
Makaronian.
Yeah,
nothing.
Let's see that. That's into opposite colored bishops,
not
but
easy
still
to
very
predict,
drawy.
Yeah, we are shown Mamedyarov Carlsen. Yep, yeah, well, let's see.
Yeah, let's
see
this
because
game,
it will be decided very soon, I believe.
Exactly, and I believe that Grishuk and Nepo will be still playing
Yeah,
there.
yeah, they have the board full of pieces, but what happens here?
We get this
wow.
queen endgame which will last forever.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, it will be tough to defend against Magnus. I mean, I would actually pretty much like to, you know, to see this one.
But it will go on for very, very long
Yeah,
time.
it's like this A pawn is not. I mean, with B pawn and Magnus having the black pieces, I would declare white's position lost. I don't care what the table base says. I mean,
Yeah, well,
you can't really hold against Magnus. But okay, the A pawn does not really provide any shelter for your king, so one has to be really tricky. And look, how many of us would start with checks, right? And first thing Magnus does, he centralizes the queen. So he puts queen d4. I mean, no checks, no nothing, but just making sure that he has lot and lot of squares under control.
Yeah, and moving with the king to the
King
center
d6,
because
closer to the opponent's king.
white king on f5 is misplaced.
Yeah, king on f, queen e4.
Wow.
Okay,
D5,
that's
check,
quite
king
an argument.
F4, yeah?
King c5, okay. Please exchange on my terms. Queen c4, check from f2, king c6. Now you cannot go queen f3 because after
Now queen c5 over.
queen c5 and the game is over because he has to trade the queens and then shouldering, right? King e4, king c4.